Alright, I promise this is the last one for at least 5 days. Now I decided to check out another horror film, one that I didn't know much about, and I decided to just watch on a whim, called It Lives Inside. It's a horror movie based off of Hindu mythology. Pretty interesting setup so far. The execution, on the other hand, is just a little boring. It's very uninterested, and it goes long segments of time where it just sort of doesn't do much. And it's like it's too slow to really explain the premises, and then in the last like 20 minutes they speed run saying, oh yeah, it's this, and you gotta do this, and you gotta do that, and you gotta blah 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 blah. So if it was just better paced and like the information was more spread out, it would have been a better film. I think I pretty much did a good job of explaining the story. I don't really remember the story too well, but so let me just reiterate, because I don't think I actually explained the story. I just explained the concept. The story is this girl is like really close friends with this other one who just vanishes after a while, and then all of a sudden the friend is super weird, always holding onto this jar and acting quite literally insane. And they get into a fight, knocks jar out, and guess what? It lives inside. A joke that me and my friend made way too often while watching this film. Just every moment, anytime it was like we saw the monster on screen, we're like, it lives inside the closet. And it's a fun title to go along with the joke. But like, I do think that there could have been some better execution on this film. Maybe in the writing department, as in like spreading out the exposition, because like they left a whole bunch of intrigue. I'd rather them just not explain it, and rather than over explain it in the last 20 minutes. So the story will be a Hot Pocket score here. Cinematics, it was actually really well shot. I really liked the cinematic tension, that the suspense that was created. It was very good. I really liked the monster design. That was really solid. I also really liked how majority of the film the monster was hidden and invisible. I love horror movies that do that, because that actually adds some more fear, because you fear what you cannot see. And yeah. So I'll give it a hand grenade there. The directing, I do have to admit, was pretty solid. The writing, though, did need some help. And the reason I bring this up under the directing is because I noticed that the director and the writer were the same person. So this was written and directed by this person who, let me just open up again. I don't believe is a first-time director. Bishal Dutta. It doesn't, not a first-time director or writer. But like, it's their first feature film. So, not a bad debut outing, especially directing-wise. Again, writing, the exposition just felt a little bit too crammed at the end, which is super weird, because usually you explain it at the beginning so people forget about it at the end. At least that's my philosophy on it. If you spread out your exposition wisely, people will remember it better. And if you just cram it in at the end, everyone was going to remember it, but for the wrong reasons. So I do have to give the directing, purely on the directing standpoint, a hand grenade score. I did enjoy the directing, just much like I enjoyed the cinematics. The acting was all right. There was no standout performance for me, and usually there's at least one performance that I can remember very fondly, but all of these just meshed together, and I didn't really like many of the characters. I don't know if it's because they were written that way, or because the few characters that I did like just got like super annoying or were killed off. Because it is a horror movie, characters are getting killed off. Let's be real here. And it was funny because I was just talking to my friend the whole time, and I'm like, yeah, that character is gonna die, this one's also gonna die, and that one's probably gonna die. And I was right a majority of the time. I'm not gonna spoil it, even though that was super vague. But acting, Hot Pocket score. Expectations and experience, like, I don't know. When I texted my friend asking to see if they wanted to watch this film, they were like, no, it looks too scary. So I was like sort of excited because maybe I was going to get another Talk to Me or Barbarian level film, when in fact it was not a Barbarian or a Talk to Me level horror film. So I was a little disappointed because of that. And so, like, I was just like, it didn't get my attention fast enough. It didn't keep me engaged. Like, it was just poorly paced, and it felt longer than it actually was. And, like, by the end of the movie, I'm like, oh, finally, I'm happy now that it's over. Which is unfortunate because I usually like my films to be a little longer, and this one was on the shorter side, and it felt longer. So that's always unfortunate. The best part about the experience was the fact that me and my friend were the only two in the theater. That was great. It's always fun when you see a movie at the theater by, like, pretty much yourself. It gives you the opportunity to make jokes without feeling self-conscious of other people hearing you and ruining their experience. So it's something that I always do when I'm alone at the theater, is make some more jokes. And that really enhanced the experience. But the film itself was not super engaging and entertaining and up to my expectations. So I'll have to give it a Hot Pocket score here. Overall, I do have to say that this is a certified Hot Pocket movie. It is a movie that maybe you should check out at least once. Just for how they depict the monster in the directing and the cinematics. But other than that, there are better choices out there for flavors. So that is pretty much all I have to say for this film. Be sure to like if you enjoyed the video, comment down below if you've seen this movie or if you've seen any of the other movies that I've talked about, and just, you know what, comment down below what's your favorite horror movie. I've already said multiple times that mine is probably The Barbarian, or just Barbarian, but I want to hear yours, and subscribe if you haven't already, and other than that, I'll leave you guys to it.